Hey, Christy, Mattoon here with Rewire. Thanks for being here. As always, subscribe, like, share, do all that great stuff. I really appreciate that. What I'm talking about today is actually grief. I'm answering a question that somebody had sent me, and I thought it would be easier to answer it in a video than it would be to answer it in the form of a text. What is going on with my hair today? In the form of a email or text message. So that's why I'm on here doing this one. So this is on grief and how you can help yourself through it using heart coherence. So getting a little bit creative, using heart coherence to solve grief. So when you've lost somebody or something, there's supposedly a process that we're supposed to go through, right? And it's defined by the American Psychology Association, right? By the people who know this stuff the best. And I've kind of taken the stance that I think it's a little bit incorrect, and that you don't need all of those steps necessarily. Can they be useful? They've been useful for years. Is it necessary? I don't think so. I think it's something we learned. And we learned it by watching a few people, and it was kind of the path that they took through it. And so we assumed that that was the path that you have to take, but I don't think it is. And so heart coherence changes the nature of all of this, because the people that they were originally watching while they were going through this were not heart coherent. They were in the polarity of their brain, and so it changed the nature of the structure of what you had to do to get through something. Does that make sense, first of all? In a heart coherent state, everything of that nature will start to change. So with grief and this 7-step process idea, it's the same kind of idea, but just identify whatever the emotion is you're having a problem with in this moment. So think about, is it sadness? Is it anger? What is it you're dealing with in this moment in regards to the grief that you're having? And what you're going to do, this is exactly the steps I would take through it. Identify the emotion and then feel it. So if it's sadness, feel sadness. If you need to cry for a second, cry. If you need to cry for an hour, cry. Let your body move through it, right? Even the anger part. Get angry and feel it. I wouldn't stay in the anger too long just because I don't think it's very productive. Sadness can be productive. Anger can perpetuate more anger and issues. So you're going to feel it. Feel it, feel it, feel it. If it's sadness, stay with it as long as you need to. If it's anger, for 1 minute. And just be there with it. And then you're going to take your awareness of what you're feeling and what you're thinking from your brain and put it into your heart. In your heart space, you're going to start to feel whatever that was you just moved. Just notice, just be there with it. As it starts to change and as it starts to shift, you're going to start to notice the feeling that you're having dying down a little bit. And then you can sit there and just feel and notice, well, what is it I feel now? Become aware of it, right? Am I feeling compassion? Am I feeling gratitude? Am I feeling a little bit of joy maybe? Your heart will actually give you other information. So if it's a person you've lost, you might actually start seeing pictures of times in your life when you were with them that you really enjoyed. You might start noticing places where y'all had fun or whatever the thing is, right? And people will say, well, what if I find something really bad and ugly? Inside your heart, you won't. You won't. It's not what your heart does. So if you are finding yucky things, if you're finding things that you're like, oh, you're back up in your head. So first of all, become aware of that. Know where your awareness is. And then bring your awareness back down into your heart. Hang out in your heart with it. And just feel, feel, feel. Let it come into compassion. Let it come into gratitude. Let it come into joy. And then keep feeling it. Here's the deal. If you stay in those feelings, the joy, the compassion, the love, you can't do the other stuff. It's physically impossible. I can't stay angry or in deep sadness if I'm feeling compassion or joy. I can't do both at once. So I'm going to put all of my awareness and all of my attention and all of my focus into this love, into this joy, into this compassion, right? For yourself, for the person, for the thing, whatever it was that you're grieving over. and then be there with it. And then don't let it go. That's seriously the key to this. Don't let it go. Now, when you're doing this, you can cross your arms and legs. Sorry about the shaking here. I'm actually propped up on a chair. Cross your arms and legs, and it adds a little bump in your whole brain state. You'll shove it a little bit deeper. While you're in your heart, shove it into your subconscious a little bit deeper. While you're in your heart's going to be opening up, and just really notice. Let the space around you open up in that feeling, and let it keep flowing and opening, right? You're doing a number of things. You're getting deeper into the subconscious. You're changing your brainwave states. Because of the level of feeling, you're going to change your perception. The longer you stay in this level of feeling, not only does your perception change, but your belief is going to change, right? And in this instance, it could be the belief that you're so sad and so, right, because of the missing of this person. Now, here's another angle on grief too. Recognize that if this was about a person or a thing that you had for a long, long time, right, especially if it's like a parent or a sibling or a child, that kind of thing, this information is embedded deeply, deeply into your system. It's not just your head, it's not just your brain, it's not just the cells of your body, it is also your soul. It's also information from, spirit, from places deeper than we can imagine. And if you're only relating it to it from a physical standpoint, the pain can seem worse. If you recognize that you're missing them, if you're missing this thing on such a deep level, and you feel like you've lost a connection, you have to reconnect through the spirit and recognize that you haven't lost that. That part is still there. That part can never go away. Of course, this physical part goes away, right? If we're talking about a person. Now, if this is a thing, sometimes readjusting your understanding about love can help sort through that. Because if you're assigning the love of a person to a thing, your love might be a little bit misguided as far as the level of attraction or the level of need for this in your life. Does that make sense? Right? Because love, there's different attributes to love. There's different meanings if you take the word love back to the original language. All right, so try and understand that. I hope this helps. Here's what I would do. Feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Take it from your brain to your heart. Move the emotion, move the awareness, hold it in your heart, let it start resolving. If it kicks back up again, do it again. Sometimes it takes more than once. It just does, right? With any of this stuff, sometimes it does take more than once. If you sit there and hold it at that high level long enough and just keep holding that person in your heart, I guarantee you it's going to end quicker. You will collapse space and time. You will. It's what it does, right? If we hold that higher level feeling for a longer period of time, that collapses. And then you're not going to have to struggle with this issue. And you actually might get a clearer line of sight to them in the spirit, right? In the spirit form. Anyway, all right, I hope this blesses you. I hope it helps. Let me know. And, excuse me, to the person that it's for, I'm sure you know who I'm talking to. Please feel free to email me again. Let me know if this hit the mark or if it didn't, or even comment below. I always appreciate that. Blessings, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.